Hello everyone, my name is Katya and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this luxurious hand warmers. All you need to know is how to work on your double crochets and your slip stitches, and it is size adjustable, so you can make it any size of your choice. For this project I'm using number 4 medium weight yarn with a 5mm crochet hook. The hand warmers are measuring about 11 inches long, but you can make it any size you like. If you like to change the hand warmer size, I do recommend for you to start by measuring out the length of your hand. So start right where the knuckles are and go as high as you want your hand warmers to go. So right here, let's say if you want it to be at 7 inches, that's how long your foundation chain should be. We're going to start with a slip knot and a chain of 42 if you're making the same size hand warmers as I am, but yours might be different depending on how high you want your hand warmers to be. So keep on chaining until you have a total of 42 chains. For round 1, we're going to work 1 double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Don't count this one, but here is 1, 2 into this chain right here. Work 1 double crochet. And now work 1 double crochet into each chain across. I'm going to continue and work my double crochet across my chains, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. You should have 41 double crochets. At the end of row 1, you should have 41 double crochets. For row 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and now we're going to work slip stitches using back loops only. So right over here we have our first stitch. Don't go into this chain 1 that we just did, but use the first stitch, back loop only, slip stitch, and slip stitch loosely. Now go into the next stitch, pick up the back loop and work a slip stitch, and continue working like this across your row, and you should have a total of 41 slip stitches at the end of this row. Continue working like this and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Here I'm coming to the end of row 2, and I just wanted to show you right over here we have one more stitch left. Don't forget to work your slip stitch using that stitch, and this ends row 2. You should have 41 slip stitches. For row 3 we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and now we need to work double crochets, but we're not going to be using this braids right here. If you notice, we have 2 loops here and 2 loops here and so forth. You need to turn this loops towards you and pick up the loops that are right over here. So here's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to pick up the 3rd loop of each stitch. So here I need to pick up this loop right here. This is my first one. So I'm going to go ahead and work the double crochet using that space or that loop. And now I'm going to move on to the next one. So I'm not picking up these loops, but I'm using the back loop. And again, I'm just going to repeat. So I'm going to bring these forward and look for the loops, and it's easy to find them once you turn the stitches towards you. And now just work your double crochets across using those back loops or the 3rd loop. So continue working like this and I'll meet you at the end of row 3. You should have 41 double crochets, and this brings a beautiful braid right here in the front. Here I'm coming to the end of row 3, and I just wanted to show you that there is one more loop left that I need to work my double crochet into. So if I move this braid or this 2 loops forward, you'll be able to see one more loop right there, and work your last double crochet using that loop, and you should have 41 double crochets at the end of row 3. Now for row 4 we're going to repeat row 2. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and work slip stitches using back loops only. So don't go into this one, but start right over here and use back loops to work your slip stitches. And remember, try to work on your slip stitches loosely. That way it'll be easy for us to find them and work our double crochets for the following row. So continue working on your slip stitches and I'll meet you at the end of row 4. At the end of row 4 you should have 41 slip stitches, and let's go ahead and continue with row 5. We're going to chain 1, turn our work, and now we're just going to repeat row 3, which is working double crochets using not these loops right here but the loops all the way in the back. So go ahead and turn your work this way towards you and you'll be able to find your loops, but don't forget to work this one right here. It's the first one. You can even add a stitch marker there if you want. So go ahead and work 1 double crochet and then 1 double crochet across using those loops all the way in the back. And that's all it is to this pattern. It's just repeating rows 2 and row 3 and making your rectangle as large as you want it to be. I worked a total of 18 rows. Continue working on your rows until you have a total of 18, and I'll meet you at the end of row 18. Here I finished working on my rectangle and it's measuring about 11.5 inches long by 6 inches wide. Now yours might be different and that's okay. Let's slip stitch the 2 sides together and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to fold the 2 ends together like this, and working on the right side, we're going to slip stitch these 2 sides together. But we're not going to do it all the way because we need to add an area for the thumb. We're going to start by using the first chain. So this is where the chains were and this is row 18. So picking up one of the chains, we're going to slip stitch going through both loops and chain 1 and work 1 more slip stitch back into that same stitch. Like so. And now we're just going to use the loops right over here, picking up 1 loop and picking up 1 loop from the other end and just slip stitching. Again, pick up the loop of this row and the chain loop and slip stitch. Continue slip stitching right over here. Leave your 12 double crochets unworked, or about 3.5 inches unworked from this end right here. Here I finished slip stitching right along the side and I have 12 double crochets unworked. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next, what you want to do is just try it on really quickly. And now we need to decide how big of a hole we want for our thumb to go through. Here I slip stitch using this side and I need to slip stitch using the chain side right here. So I'm going to slip stitch only here for 8 stitches and then I'm going to combine them together and continue slip stitching for the rest of the 4 stitches, and I'll show you how that's done. We're going to slip stitch using this side only, and I'm going to do about 8 stitches, so 8 slip stitches total. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now I'm going to connect both sides and continue slip stitching using the rest of the stitches. But this time I'm doing them together. And that should be about 4 slip stitches. And one more time, slip stitch. Chain 1. Don't cut your yarn yet. We're going to continue and work single crochets along the side. And just try it on really quickly, and if you need to adjust the size you can do it now, and if you need to make it bigger, smaller, this is the time to do it. And so if you feel like maybe this should be tighter, you can do so by adding less slip stitches right on top. You can maybe work 6 slip stitches and then just continue like this. Let's go ahead and add single crochets all along this opening right here. We already chained 1. Going back into the same space where we slip stitched the 2 sides together, we're going to add 1 single crochet into that space. I am working my yarn tail in, so I'm holding on to it. Right over here where our double crochet is, I'm just going to find 1 space and work my single crochet. I don't want it to be too loose, so I'm just doing one single crochet in the double crochet area, and then picking up the slip stitches that we did here, the loops right here, picking them up and working my single crochet into that space, and repeat one into the double crochet space and then one into the slip stitches space, like so. Continue working like this and I'll meet you at the end. Here I'm coming to the end and I worked 18 single crochets all along the side. I'm going to go ahead and work one more using any of the spaces that I can. I think I'm going to work one right into this space right here, and then slip stitch using the first single crochet, which is right here. Slip stitch into that first single crochet to end this round, and cut your yarn. Try it on. Make sure you like the way it fits. See, we made it a little bit tighter so that way it's not too loose here. Let's go ahead and add our single crochets on this opening right here. To work single crochets along the side, I'm just going to start right over here where we slip stitch the two sides together, but you can start anywhere you like. I'm just going to use this space right here and wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through. Hold on to the yarn tail and chain one. Back into that same space, work one single crochet, and then work one single crochet using the space right before where we did a row of slip stitches. And into the row where we did our slip stitches, go ahead and work a single crochet using that slip stitch space. And I am working my yarn tail in, and just continue. So two single crochets right into this space, one and two, and then one single crochet right on top of the slip stitches we did. And that's all there is to this single crochet round. So again, pick up spaces and work your two single crochets, and then work one single crochet on top of the slip stitch row. Continue working like this and I'll meet you at the end. Here I worked a total of 25 single crochets along the side, and I'm coming to the end, and I'm going to actually work one single crochet using this space right here, and then just slip stitch using the first single crochet to end this round. Chain one, cut your yarn, and all we need to do is weave in our yarn tails and we'll be done. I turned my work inside out, and using our tapestry needle, we're going to go ahead and find any of the single crochets right along the side. So just bring in your yarn tail using the loops of a stitch, any single crochet stitch. And now just using the back loops of our stitches, the single crochet stitches, go ahead and insert your needle and pull through. Now we're going to drop one loop and come back where we started. We can even pick up more loops. Pull through. And one more time, coming back up. And you're done. You can cut this yarn tails and repeat the same thing to the other yarn tail. And here's our finished hand warmers. Go ahead and repeat the same thing to the second pair. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.